Hello students, today we are going to continue with our chapter Weavers, Iron Smelters and Factory Owners. Now today our topic will be how the iron and steel factories come up in India. In the year 1904, Jamshedji Tata decided to build a big iron and steel industry in India. By that time, Jamshedji Tata was a very successful man and he had earned lot of money through other business. So he decided that through all this money, he will start a new factory, and that factory will be iron and steel industry. Now, Charles Weld, a famous American geologist, and Dorabji Tata, the elder son of Jamshedji Tata, were given the responsibility to find out iron ore deposit in India. They keep on visiting one place to another to find out the good source of iron ore, but they failed. One day, while traveling in the forests of Chhattisgarh, they saw a group of men and women carrying basket loads of iron ore. These were the tribal people of Chhattisgarh. They are called Agarias. These Agarias helped them to find out Rajhara Hills. Rajhara Hills had one of the finest ores in the world. But the problem was that there was no source of water near the Rajhara Hills. So Jamshedji Tata at that time uh, was not in a position to start there, because at that time there was no electricity also, there was no supply of water also. So he decided to move and start the factory somewhere else. But later on he established Bhilai steel plant in Chhattisgarh. Now, establishment of Tisco. Tisco is one of the, you can say it is the multinational company of India, and its full form is Tata Iron and Steel Company. A few years later, a large area of forest was cleared on the banks of river Subarnekha to set up the factory and to set up an industrial township called Jamshedpur. We all know about Jamshedpur. Jamshedpur is also known as Tata Nagar, and the name of Jamshedpur is based on the great industrialist Jamshedji Tata. The Tata Iron and Steel Company that came up began producing steel in 1912. First World War helped Tisco to expand its business. Now how? It is because that when Tisco was established, just a few years after that, First World War started. It started from 1914 and continued till 1918. Britishers were engaged in war and they were having short of supply of steel and iron. So at that time they gave lot of orders to the Tisco, and as well as at that time railways also started to work throughout the India, and railways also needed the supply of iron and steel, and it was also done by the Tisco. By 1919, the colonial government was buying 90% of the steel manufactured by Tisco. Over time, Tisco became the biggest steel industry within the British Empire. The impact, if you will see what was the at that time when Tisco started to function, it was the time when the nationalist movement started throughout the India, and Gandhiji also joined the Indian national movement by 1915. And after the joining of Gandhiji, the Indian national movement became a mass movement. Now, business communities also participated in the nationalist movement. As the nationalist movement developed and the industrial class became stronger, the demand for government protection became louder. Struggling to retain its control over India, the British government had to concede many of these demands in the last decades of colonial rule. So, this is how the iron and steel industry started to function in India. Thank you.